Someone just got thrown. People getting thrown down the stairs. People getting thrown down the stairs. Yo.
This was the scene last night at the Democrat National Headquarters in D.C. These are pro-Palestinian demonstrators whose protests against the Democrat Party's leadership and their unwavering support of Israel turned violent, requiring police to evacuate the area around the headquarters of the DNC. The number of protesters were estimated to be around 200, but they were enough to injure at least 6 police officers in the riotous chaos. Top House Democrats, such as House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, were indeed inside the building. They had to be escorted out as well. Now, of course, if you've been a regular to this channel, and if not, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. But if you've been a regular, you'll know that this event last night is but the latest incident in the civil war that's erupted within the Democrat Party over the Israeli-Hamas war. Just over the weekend in New York City, one of the bluest, most densely Democrat regions in the nation, pro-Palestinian demonstrators gathered in the streets and began pulling down the American flag amidst cheers and celebration. And this protest came on the heels of the ultra-leftist Palestinian Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib getting officially censured by the U.S. Congress. She's only the 26th congressman to be censored in the history of our republic. The formal rebuke is in response to Tlaib's history of making repeated anti-Semitic remarks. The vote passed with 234 votes. But astonishingly, the vote for the censure included 22 Democrats. 22 Democrats did what Democrats never do. They crossed the aisle and voted with Republicans to punish one of their own. What's so interesting here is that more and more pundits are realizing that the Israeli-Hamas war is actually fracturing the Democrat Party. It's literally cracking the cohesion of the Democrat coalition. Both American Jews and Arabs overwhelmingly vote Democrat. That's been an established pattern now for some time. On average, Jews vote 70% Democrat. And in 2020, the same percentage of Arab Muslims, 70%, voted for Biden. What unites Jews and Arabs here in the United States is a common commitment to what's generally referred to as resentment politics, or a politics of grievance, which is the technical term for a politics that organizes society according to a perceived binary of oppressor and oppressed groups, those who supposedly discriminate and those who are in turn supposedly discriminated against. For me, it's not a matter of arguing the merits or demerits of the binary. It's simply a matter of the perception that unless we stick together, as it were, we're both going to be the victims of discrimination and oppression. That's the key to their politics. However, that coalition is beginning to crack, and I'm going to show you exactly how. But first, are you ready to join the true resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. Now, we've punished Bud Light, Target. We've driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy. We've forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and we've seen our glorious Trump-appointed Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today. We're seeing more and more articles coming out on just how stunned American Jews are for the amount of rabid hatred against Israel that's coming out not from the political right, but from the political left. What American Jews are suddenly discovering is that in the eyes of many of their fellow leftists, they have now been officially transferred from one side of the oppressor-oppressed binary to the other. Polls are consistently showing Democrat voters are siding with the Palestinians by double digits, by an 11-point margin, 49-38. And what's happening here now is American Jews are finding out more and more that the majority of their own party is seeing them as the oppressor It's now the Jew who is the discriminator, the perpetrator of a racist apartheid system against the Palestinians. In other words, the irony in all of this is that Jews have now largely become the recipients of the very politics of resentment and grievance that 70% of them have been voting for and inflicting on others. That's the heart, as I see it, of the fission, of the crack-up, of the coherence of the left-wing coalition. But that's only one side of the crack-up. The other side is a massive backlash against Biden and the Democrats coming from Arab and Muslim voters. Muslim and Arab Americans, who we saw were instrumental in Biden's support back in 2020, they are increasingly coming out and openly telling Biden they will not back him in 2024 because of his blanket support for Israel in the Hamas conflict. NBC News just published a report on Biden's support among Muslim Americans absolutely cratering, particularly in the swing state of Michigan that has one of the highest Muslim populations in the nation. According to a study conducted by Biden's own pollster, while, as we heard, 70% of Muslims voted for Biden in 2020, that support has now plummeted to just 16%. So all of this is to say that the Democrat coalition really is fracturing. And ironically, it's fracturing along the very lines by which it has thus far maintained the coherence of its coalition, the line of victimhood, the line of discrimination and oppression. As it turns out, inevitably, world events guarantee that that line is fluid. Groups that were for years on one side of the line will inevitably wake up one day and find themselves on the other side. And because there's no basis for dialogue or diplomacy between a victimized group and their supposed victimizers, the coalition of the left eventually ends up canceling out itself. That's what we were seeing happening last night at the DNC. The left is eating itself, collapsing ultimately from within.